তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে।
Unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. A repressed wish can never be destroyed. It seeks fulfillment in various distorted types of activities, which I have described as symbolic.
The similarity between the two quotes is uncanny. Yet the authors of these utterings lived hundreds of miles apart and were unfamiliar with each other's work. Psychoanalysis developed indigenously in India and is inextricably linked with Dr. Girindrasekhar Bose, popularly known as G.S. Bose. Born on 30th January 1887, Bose was a breech baby.
I did not come into this world with my head down.
It was a significant statement as it was the time of the British rule in India. His father, Chandrasekhar Bose, was then the Diwan, estate manager, of the Darbhanga Raj estate in Bihar. His mother, Lakshmi Mimani Devi, was 22 years younger than his father and was his third wife. A strange similarity with Freud, for Freud's mother was also 20 years his father's junior and his father's third wife. Bose's family had a very rich cultural environment. His father was a scholar of the Indian philosophy. All his four brothers were excellent writers, especially his second brother, Rajshekhar Bose, who was a very famous writer of Bengali literature. In 1904, at the age of 17, he got married to Indumati Mitra, who was only 10 years old then. He had two daughters, Durgabati and Kamlabati. Bose was an extraordinarily brilliant student. Bose stood first in Bachelors of Science with double major from Presidency College, now Presidency University. He had a medical degree from Calcutta Medical College in 1910 and a master's in psychology from Calcutta University in 1917. In 1921, he was awarded the Doctor in Science degree from Calcutta University for his original thesis on the concept of repression. Bose wrote his first letter to Freud in May 1921.
Dear Sir, I take the liberty to send you under separate cover a book entitled The Concept of Repression. I shall be delighted to have your opinion and suggestions about my work. I am glad to testify the correctness of its principal views and the good sense appearing in it.
It has been translated in French by Livio Boni and in Spanish by Adriana Ponzoni. In 1922, he established the Indian Psychoanalytical Society at the behest of Ernest Jones in the ground floor of his own residential premises. The society was given almost immediate affiliation to the International Psychoanalytical Association. Dr. S.C. Bose, Dr. M.N. Banerjee, Owen Berkeley Hill, and H.P. Moiti were among the signatories when the society was registered in 1938. The society is still continuing to function from these very premises after 100 years. Bose's concern to provide humane and scientific treatment to mental patients resulted in his opening an outdoor psychiatric department at the then Carmichael Medical College, now R.G. Kaur Medical College, of which he remained superintendent from 1933 to 1947. Thereafter, he established Lumbini Park Mental Hospital in 1940, which in course of time became the largest private hospital in West Bengal and is now a government-run hospital. We are talking about 100 years ago, when mental illness being a taboo subject, Bose's stories and the use of magic was a vantage point in engaging with people of various age groups. To create further awareness on mental health, mental disorders and psychoanalysis, a quarterly English journal, Samiksha, was started in 1947, which is still continuing till date. The Second World War and the struggle for independence of India in 1947 left us all bleeding. It was followed by the division of Punjab and Bengal. The streams of refugees thronging the streets, roads and railway stations of Kolkata posed serious humane and mental health problems. During this period, the condition of IPS mirrored the social condition of the people around. On June 3, 1953, the founder of psychoanalysis in India breathed his last in his own house.
Dear all, on 3rd June, Wednesday at evening 6 p.m., our beloved uncle Dr. Girindrasekhar Bose left for his heavenly abode. Coming 14th June, Sunday at morning, in 14 Parsi Bagan Lane, at home, a memorial service is arranged in his name upon completion of last rites. You are kindly requested to join the event. We shall be highly obliged. Thanking you, Mriganko Bhushan Bose, Shetketu Bose, Bijoy Ketu Bose.
Dr. Bose donated all his books to the library of IPS, which show the variety and intensity of his knowledge. We have preserved them with care. The library of IPS is now fully computerized and is one of the best for psychoanalytical literature. Bose was not merely a psychiatrist and a psychoanalyst. He was a legendary teacher and extremely erudite person. His deep knowledge in both Indian philosophical systems and psychoanalysis is depicted in his reinterpretation of the Bhagavad Gita from a psychoanalytical point of view. Due to an accident, his face and right arm got severely burned. During this time, he started writing with his left hand and completed a whole book named Puran Prabesh, based on Indian mythology. Bose's views differed from Freud in many aspects. His concept of repression, known as the theory of opposite wishes, substantially differs from the Freudian concept of repression. His views differ about the importance of castration complex in the resolution of Oedipus complex. He found that Indian patients were more accepting of their bisexuality than their Western counterparts. The logo of IPS depicting Ardhanarishwar, the combined image of Hindu god Shiva and his consort Parvati, half male, half female, symbolizes bisexuality of human beings. The Indian Psychoanalytical Society continued its journey following the footsteps of its founder, Dr. Suri Chandra Mitra, Dr. Tarun Chandra Sinha, Dr. Shiv Kumar Mitra, Dr. D.N. Nandi, Dr. Saradindu Bandyopadhyay, Arup Ghoshal became the presidents of the Indian Psychoanalytical Society. Currently, Dr. Pushpa Mishra is the president of the society. In his memory, the Indian Psychoanalytical Society started Girindrasekhar Clinic at 14 Parsi Bagan Lane, Kolkata in 1970 to provide psychiatric and psychoanalytical services to mentally ill persons at a very low cost. It also offers various online and classroom training courses, for example, on psychiatric counseling, telecounseling, psychosocial support, and so on. Last year, we celebrated the Golden Jubilee of the clinic. Incidentally, the later part of 1980s, the society again witnessed a critical phase because of a decline in interest in psychoanalysis and introduction of rival forms of therapies. However, the society overcame the resistance of this lean period. A renewed interest in psychoanalysis is marked by growing number of trainee students, new ways of community outreach have been introduced. Training courses, movie club, and discussion groups began to take place again. In 1945, two of the leading psychoanalysts of IPS, Desai and Ramana, moved to Bombay and the USA respectively. Bombay, now Mumbai, chapter of psychoanalysis began under the leadership of an Italian analyst, Emilio Servido. In the early 1970s, a few met Dr. Donald Meltzer, a prominent member of the Melanie Klein group. His visit marked the beginning of a long and fruitful relationship between the Bombay group, London's Tavistock Clinic, and the Kleinian approach. In 1974, Psychoanalytical Therapy and Research Center was founded, with the aim to promote the growth and development of psychoanalytical work with children and adults. It is doing a commendable job, helping patients from different parts of India. In 1995, Dr. Manik Barucha and Mrs. Aveen Barucha, both Tavistock-trained child psychotherapists, joined the Bombay chapter. Mrs. Minnie Dastoor, child and adolescent psychoanalytical psychotherapist from Tavistock, and Mr. Saroj Forbes, qualified as an associate of the Child Psychotherapists Association in UK, and joined as teaching faculty of the first child and adolescent psychotherapy training in India under the Mumbai chapter of IPS. Psychoanalysis came to Delhi in the early 1970s with Professor S.K. Mitra, then director of NCERT, and Dr. H.P. Mehta, head of the Family Counseling Unit in a school for mentally challenged children. But it was kick-started by the arrival of Dr. Sudhir Kakkar from Germany in 1975. Dr. Kakkar is an internationally famous analyst and has published extensively on subjects ranging from Gandhi to Hindu-Muslim conflicts, Hindu families, sexuality, and many other topics. He is the only psychoanalyst in the whole world who has been awarded the Goethe Prize after Freud. We are very proud to have him here today as the president of our program. After a sullen lull for nearly 2 decades, psychoanalysis has firmly established its root, with several people seeking training and therapy in Delhi. Spearheaded by Malika Akbar, Vinita Chetrapal, and Nilofer Kaul, and with Sudhir Kakkar as its president, the Delhi chapter was set up in December 2013. Dr. Madhu Sareen, trained in the United States of America in New York, also settled in Delhi. The chapter has hosted eminent psychoanalysts and has had peer and group supervision regularly. Today, our Delhi chapter is a motley group of analysts and aspiring analysts, often with different orientations, who are held together by their love for psychoanalysis. At present, the Indian Psychoanalytical Society has 45 full members and 42 trainee candidates. During the COVID-19 pandemic and subsequent lockdown, the Delhi group was forced to suspend its activities. The Mumbai group offered counseling to COVID patients on specified days. The Kolkata group continued its activities online and organized a free tele-helpline to people needing help. It was run on a national level for 4 months from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We hope that in the near future also, the Indian Psychoanalytical Society will be able to continue with its mission of helping persons with mental health problems and make meaningful contribution in the area of psychoanalysis continuously.
We welcome you all.